From 1940 to 1945, a strange unknown phenomena started to appear in the skies above Germany. The 415th Night Fighter Squadron noticed these strange balls of light, tracking Allied bombing formations. Flight crew members describe these as Christmas tree ornaments in the sky. Some say they look like glowing balls of light on fire, hence the name given to these objects, fireballs. But we know them as Foo Fighters. However, the Germans called these Foo Fighters Feuerballs. One Italian engineer described these Feuerballs as Fliegende Schildkröte, which means flying tortoise in English, because these Feuerballs look like tortoise shells on the ground. What is that, you ask? I thought Foo Fighters were extraterrestrials visiting our planet. Sure, if you've been watching History Channel's Ancient Aliens. However, others bring forward wild claims that Foo Fighters was an advanced technical flying probe to down Allied aircraft. Fascinating claims. So let's look into the topic of Foo Fighters being an advanced weapon of war by looking into the claims of Renato Vesco's 1968 book called Intercept UFO. Also taking inspiration from Graham Randall's book UFOs Before Roswell, European Foo Fighters from 1940 to 1945. Renato is an Italian engineer who is the only author I know of that portrays Foo Fighters as an advanced weapon of war. Foo Fighters was designed and developed by the SS Technical General Staff at the Department of Technical and Mechanical Development in Bavaria under the control of Hans Kammler. You're probably wondering, what is a Foo Fighter? What are these probes or devices? Well, let's go into it. These unmanned, pilotless, radio-controlled devices would be designed to give off electrostatic field to disrupt and down enemy aircraft, in which an electrical interface could be affected a running engine. From this, it is apparent that the engine's ignition systems could be affected, causing the aircraft to crash. These devices looked like a silver disc about 6 feet in diameter with 3 landing legs. However, some cases, these probes were sitting on a tripod. Inside these discs was a large klystron tube surrounding in an insulated anti-shock and anti-armor shell. This tube will create a powerful electrostatic impulse that will disrupt any Allied aircraft on board radar system. Also, an proximity radio interface was installed to disrupt any electrical systems, and also to mention these Foo Fighters was powered by a turbojet engine. A common occurrence with Foo Fighters is that when these probes were tested, it would produce a halo effect like a ring surrounding the device when airborne, hence the German name Feuerball. A chemical additive was added to the fuel mixture for the turbojet engine to function, and this chemical with the fuel mixture would produce a bright halo effect surrounding the circumference of the device. This can ionize the atmosphere by changing colors to orange, red, or green. Renato Vesco also mentions these probes would automatically follow enemy exhaust fumes, a bit like a heat-seeking missile device. Once approached, the device fumes of the Foo Fighter would focus attention on the wingtips or close enough without collision. The klystron tube will also jam any radar output signals from the output and blocking any radar signals coming in. It will take up to a few minutes for the electrostatic impulse to take effect. However, I have not seen any reports of any downed aircraft. Renato Vesco describes these feuerballs as a highly original flying machines that he describes looking like a tortoiseshell and powered by an advanced turbojet engine. These apparatus or probes was launched from the ground, a bit like a surface-to-air missile. The Foo Fighter project went into the hands of the Aeronautic Institute in Wiener Neustadt, Austria, by the Oppenpfaffenhofen Aeronautic Radio Research Institute, the same institute that developed the radio control systems for the Luftwaffe. Vesco then later claims that the production of Foo Fighters was moved to the Black Forest in Austria when all the projects was kept underground due to the advancements of the Russian front in March of 1945. However, the French got there first in April of 1945. In late of 1943 to 44, air raids still continued on Britain from the V-1 and eventually V-2 rockets sent from Germany to England. Some unexploded V-2 rockets was captured and disassembled by the British, and they found out in the tips of this rocket was a shoebox-sized black box, and this was a television camera. A declassified document by the FBI from the 1950s called the United States Strategic Air Force in Europe Office of a Director of Intelligence, a evolution of German capabilities in 1945. Described these balls of light as German technology because the crew members on board the bombers all thought it was German tech in the first place, but in this document it mentions Foo Fighters as Prue bombs, in which it gives the description of these balls of light as ramming weapons against bombing formations, and these Prue bombs would have a magnetic wave that could down and disrupt Allied aircraft. Let me put this question forward. Why hasn't any Allied aircraft shot down any Foo Fighters? Vesco continues to claim that the Foo Fighters had armoured layers of thin sheets of electrically insulated aluminium that acted as a switch. He continues, if the bullet pierces the exterior armour contacted between the two layers was established, and the circuits was closed, which provides maximum amount of acceleration for the device to travel, which would be upwards, moving the device away from potential further harm. But Vesco also claims that explosive charge was inside the casing of the Foo Fighter. Here is a quote from Vanesco's book. The Foo Fighter did contain a serious explosive charge to destroy them in a flight in case serious damage to the automatic guidance systems made it impossible for the operators to control it. End quote. This is many claim that Renato Vesco mentions about Foo Fighters being an advanced technological creation by the minds of the Third Reich. But again, where are all the blueprints, the documents, the photographs, the prototypes? This is part of the Nazi Flying Saucer program, the myth. No evidence to back up anything, these are just claims. But researching into German technology during and even before the Second World War, I would not be surprised if they did create some sort of device or apparatus to try and down military aircraft, and I'm not ruling Foo Fighters out as being some sort of device. So what's your thoughts on this subject? Was Foo Fighters or foilballs some sort of radio jamming, heat-seeking, air-to-ground, radio-controlled, short-range, high-performance, still-nosed, jet-propelled, ignition system disruptor capable of speeds over 500 miles per hour? Or is it some spiritual, dimensional, 10-foot alien creatures looking for the nearest shopping mall? I'll leave that decision to you, my friends. Take care and be well. Wishing you the best and nothing but the best.